A lot of narcissists have a very distinct smell to them, which is pungent, foul, and death-like. It does not go away with showering, brushing their teeth, cleaning, and washing the clothes multiple times. They can't hide it by wearing the most expensive cologne either. It comes out, it oozes out from every pore of their body. Now, this is not a universal.
Where does this guy live again?
Not every narcissist smells. Some of them smell great, and if you have dealt with that type of a narcissist, fine. But this is also an experience of so many, which you will notice in the comments of this episode.
I don't know. I'm wondering.
A narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In today's episode, we are going to talk about why do narcissists smell? Why do they have a distinct death-like smell to them? If that sounds interesting and intriguing, please consider subscribing before we get started, because as I always
Death
suggest,
smell.
your subscription to my channel helps in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. We're going to understand why narcissists smell from two perspectives. First one is the spiritual perspective. The second one is the scientific perspective. The hormone
When you forget to put on your spiritual axe.
going on within a narcissist's body.
Fuck.
So the spiritual aspect is very clear. A narcissist's self contains chaos, a lot of toxic and negative energy. Should I say demonic energy, because I use that term a lot. They make themselves readily available for all the bad stuff out there. Whether or not you believe in spirituality, entities and demonic spirits and so on does not matter. What matters is that they harbor resentment, anger, aggression is their way to deal with the world. And if somebody lives in that state continuously, what's going to happen? Of course, they are going to physically manifest their inner rotting self. If hatred, jealousy, and envy is what you experience all the time, is what you feel towards those who you meet and target, how would you not smell? In my opinion, it is their rotting soul, their rotting heart, and their rotting conscience that comes out through their mouth and through their body, which is why a lot of them smell manure-like. They can brush 1,000 times a day and still their breath stinks. And this is not about hygiene. Some of them are really unhygienic, and those types are called cerebral narcissists, who are disconnected from the body. But somatic narcissists are the opposite. What I'm talking about is beyond hygiene. It's just their general state of being. And they seem to have no awareness of this smell. Only you or those who experience them 24/7
Okay, that might look like me a little bit.
closely with them know what I'm talking about, know this smell, and they just want to get rid of it. It's on the pillows, it's on the bed sheet, it's on their clothes, it's on everything they touch. The drain-like smell comes from their rotting true self that they sacrificed on the altar of their false self. In simple words, they suppressed, completely dissociated their true self to the point of having zero awareness of it. But just because they don't have any awareness does not mean it ceases to exist. The only difference between your true self, your inner child, and their inner child is that their inner child is dead. Yours is living, it's there. Yes, you are traumatized, you may be not in touch with that, but they can't get in touch with anything since they annihilated it completely. And that is, in my opinion, where this smell comes from. All that shame, all those insecurities, everything they do not want to acknowledge, in my opinion, combinedly is the prime.
Well, if it's in your professional opinion.
Mothers. Now let's talk about this foul smell from a scientific perspective. When you remain in a state of stress 24/7, your body releases hormones like cortisol.
I'm the least stressed person I know in the world.
Excessive sweating, hence a foul, pungent smell. You may ask me, what are you even talking about?
What are you
They
even
not
talking
ones
about?
For stressed, they create stress for others. Absolutely, you are correct. But fundamentally, these are human beings as well. They may think they are godlike, but the reality is they have bodies, and bodies come with flaws. So what happens is they remain in a state of rage. Anger is their go-to emotion. And evidence has proven, rather showed us, that one anger outburst can force your body to release excessive cortisol, which can take 7 days to normalize. The amount of cortisol released by just one anger outburst. Compare that with the narcissist anger. They are angry all the time. It's like breathing to them. Everything triggers it. Passive or overt, it does not matter. Anger is the only emotion they feel openly and express openly. Why? Because it helps them to dominate others and to exert control or to manipulate others. So if somebody remains in this state of stress and rages, wouldn't their body be a home to these stress hormones, even though they know how to kind of put on a facade of being the calmest person? That is not their reality. Within them, they're shaking. They know how to camouflage well. They know how to shape shift well. They know how to hide it. The truth is,
Shape
deep
shift?
down, they're shivering. How can I say so? What evidence do I have for that? Well, I've talked to so many narcissists accidentally in a one-on-one setting, and I have got to hear the same thing. I may pretend to be really strong, but deep down, if I were to acknowledge my true state, I would say I remain afraid and I feel stressed as well. The stress is about what? About maintaining.
Stop with the mouth noises.
That repetition.
Well, I have fucking
Gas
nectarine
lying, truth, twisting,
between my
creating
teeth.
narratives.
Okay.
All of that requires energy. Of course, they get it from you vampirically, but still, it needs work. So that's one of the reasons, one of the explanations behind that pungent smell, that manure-like smell, which may come from their mouth as well. Stress leads to dry mouth conditions, and if there is no moisture in your mouth, of course, it's going to smell. The same thing may be seen in victims of narcissistic abuse, excessive sweating and body odor problems. But that is an entirely different thing. Two cannot be compared. Other mental health conditions like schizophrenia, because of excessive cortisol and serotonin production, can lead to body smells, body odor. That is an entirely different thing. As I said in the beginning of this episode, this is not a universal trait of narcissists, and I'm not suggesting that one should put it in the diagnostic criteria that if somebody smells they're a narcissist. That would be stupid. Why am I saying it? Because a lot of people comment, oh, well, this is pseudoscience, and what evidence do you have? This is crap, and context matters. Watch the full video, understand what I'm trying to say, understand the point that I'm trying to make.
I understand the point, but you're retarded. Alright, ladies. No further links, Your Honor. No further links. We are done with Los Lincos. Save me from these fucking brain rotters. Down.